Alright, hey, welcome to this science masterclass again, last one in the series on combustion, corrosion, and acid reactions. Let's get started with this one, hey? For this presentation, we're going to explore some different types of reactions, particularly those that I just mentioned, those combustion, corrosion, and acid reactions. We're going to discover what they mean in chemical terms and what the applications they have for us in the world around us. It's probably important that you have gone back and you've watched the previous videos in the series up to this to be able to understand different types of reactions, what they are, particularly chemical formulas and all that jazz. Okay, it's also important to understand what an endothermic reaction and an exothermic reaction is. An endothermic one is one that takes in heat from the surrounding area. That causes a decrease in the temperature of the surroundings. An exothermic one is one that gives off heat, causing an increase in temperature of the surrounding area. Okay, so we're going to look at the combustion reaction to start with. Combustion reactions are examples of exothermic reactions. Okay, so if I go back and look at what an exothermic one is it gives off heat into the surrounding area, increasing it. Okay, a combustion occurs whenever something reacts with oxygen gas, so O2 burning or exploding as it does. An example of this is a bushfire. So in a bushfire, there's a series of reactions. These chemicals are in the living plants. They burn oxygen, release huge amounts of heat and light as they react. So remember that with a combustion reaction, it's always something reacting with oxygen. Okay. Let's have a look at combustion in fossil fuels. Bunsen burners, gas stoves, and water heaters produce hot blue flames by burning methane or ethane gases. So, combustion reactions quite often happen with any gas that ends with a and E, like methane, propane. There's one on the next slide, octane, all those ones that you'll come to see in a second. So, when the oxygen reacts with those types of gases, they produce carbon dioxide and water vapor. So the general formula is when you've got a fossil fuel such as methane, ethane, propane, all those ones, when they react with oxygen gas and produce carbon dioxide, so it's important to note the dioxide and water vapor, then you know it's a combustion reaction. Okay, here's another example here. Petrol is a mixture of highly combustible chemicals called hydrocarbons. These are the most important one of them is that octane one that we got here, so another one of those fossil fuels. Octane, when it reacts with oxygen gas, I'm looking at the chemical formula up here now, when it reacts with oxygen gas produces carbon dioxide and water vapor. Okay, so we got carbon dioxide here again and that water vapor. Now incomplete combustion is if the oxygen supply is restricted, then the combustion reaction doesn't release as much heat or light. This is called an incomplete combustion reaction. Okay, they're quite commonly known as a dirty reaction because they produce carbon, which is left behind as soot, charcoal, or smoke. So dirty, like as in they're dark and whatnot. They also produce poisonous gas called carbon monoxide. So we know with their complete combustion, they produce carbon dioxide. Incomplete produces carbon monoxide. Let's have a look at this reaction, chemical reaction we got down the bottom here. We've got methane, so a fossil fuel reacting with oxygen gas again, produces carbon monoxide and water vapor. So they're the main differences between the incomplete and complete, is that carbon monoxide, the carbon dioxide. Let's look at corrosive reactions. So another reaction involving oxygen is an oxidation reaction, or a corrosion reaction. So when a metal reacts or is exposed to things like water, air, or other chemicals, corrosion can occur, meaning that it breaks down the metal to form other compounds. You can often see that in rusty cars or rusty boats. There's an old ship that's been corroded by salt water and the air and the chemicals reacted to break it down to form those other compounds. So if we look at this car here, we've got the steel or the iron of the car slowly reacts with water and oxygen in the air. The car will corrode until all that's left is a pile of rust. The car kind of is really a pile of rust, isn't it? Okay, another type of corrosion is when you've got copper corroding or reacting with the gases in the air to form a green verdigris. This is a mixture of copper hydroxide and copper carbonate. So if you were to go and visit New York and see the Statue of Liberty, you'll notice that it's that green color. Originally, it wouldn't have been that green color because as that copper starts to corrode with the chemicals that are in the air, it forms that green tinge called that verdigris that copper is so commonly associated with. So if you look at the image on the right, this is perhaps what it would have looked like originally. Okay, so another example of corrosion is when you've got tarnish. So if you've got silver at home, that silver reacts with sulfur to form a black coating called that tarnish or silver sulfide. That comes from the hydrogen sulfide in the air pollution or from foods like eggs, fish, onions, or pea soup. So if you were to polish your silver, it would look like the image on the right, whereas the tarnish that's occurring looks like the image on the left there, that darky sort of browny black color. Okay, when acids and metals react, a corrosion can occur. They usually break them down into a salt and hydrogen gas. This is an example here. Hopefully we'll get to do some practicals on that this week. An important general formula to know about acids and metal reactions are that when an acid reacts with a metal, it produces a salt and hydrogen gas. Okay, so a salt and hydrogen gas. Okay, so what is a salt? Salt's used is a term used to describe any compound formed by a metal taking the place of the hydrogen atom in an acid. So it's basically whatever's left behind. This is a good example of it occurring here when I've got hydrochloric acid reacting with magnesium to produce the salt, magnesium chloride, and the gas, hydrogen gas. Okay, neutralization reaction, as the name suggests, it's a neutralization of an acid and a base. When they come together, they equal each other out. So when an acid and a base neutralizes each other, what happens is you've got a salt and water being produced. Okay, this is a really important general formula to remember as well. The acid, when it reacts with a base, produces a salt and water. Okay, hey, that brings us to the end of this series and also the end of this reaction clip today. Make sure you go back and watch it again. Make sure you know those general formulas. Make sure you understand what's being produced, the difference between an incomplete and a complete combustion. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to my channel, and watch it again if there's points you missed. Hey, thanks for watching.